All right, I'm just waiting until 100 people get in the room. Hey, Nikki. Gaga TXTX, welcome. Just waiting for more people to join. I've debated doing this. There's a guy, and I'm just gonna I want to do it, but it's not my idea. So I'm just gonna straight up cite him and talk about it. So there's this guy named Scott Adams, and he does these awesome periscopes. And every time he does them, he waits till people get in the room, and he asks everybody to get a coffee or a drink, something that they really, really enjoy. And then he asks everybody to drink it all together at the same time. And he calls this the simultaneous sip. So it's super corny for me to do the same thing as this guy. But one of the things he preaches is he teaches this as methodology of persuasion. And he always says that the technique doesn't matter. Even if people know what you're doing, it still works. So I don't feel bad using it because he's teaching it as a technique. And as long as I cite it, I think it's fine. So we're going to do a citation to the simultaneous sip of Scott Adams. So everybody get a drink. You can get a Coke, you can get a coffee, you can get some water. Anything that makes you feel good, grab that, hold it up, and everybody take a simultaneous sip. All right, so we did a citation to the simultaneous sip. Now let's do a sip of our own. One more. Very, very good. Okay. So I also just want to start by giving a shout out to the Heart of Auburn account, Josh at Heart of Auburn. He's been giving me some shares, and my viewership is just spiking every time he shares. So I just want to give a shout out to him, give him some love, give him some comments, give him some hearts. Shout out to Heart of Auburn. Okay, so today we're going to talk about genetically modified organisms. That's what GMOs are. We're going to talk about the regulation on GMOs and a little bit about I'll give you an example of how I work with GMOs on a day-to-day basis. First, let's just review some of the things that I've been doing. So each morning, I'm identifying the things that I believe in my policy issues. So I'm a candidate for the U.S. Senate in the Alabama primary. My name is John Beckmann. I'm a professor. I teach biotechnology and science. And so each morning I come here and I talk about the things that I believe in, the things that I'll advocate for as a U.S. Senator. So the first talk I gave is on pro-life and free vasectomy. Pro-life, just as pro-life as anybody else here in Alabama, but I also believe that if we reduce the instances of abortions potentially by free vasectomies are cheap. So I'm pro-life and free vasectomy because that's going to reduce the amount of abortions that actually have to happen. So it's kind of like an actual way to get a solution to the problem. I'm also for doubling the NIH budget. So I had a previous video talking about the National Institutes of Health is this science organization that does research for health issues. I'm for doubling that budget. And I also talked about new weapons winning wars, so doubling the budget for DARPA, which is the military research end of the United States Army, okay, and they build new weapons. And I'm a big advocate that new technologies, new weapons are going to be the means through which we win the wars of the future. And I gave examples for this, and I talked about this in detail in one of the previous videos. So you'll notice my platform is very, very heavy science, technology, motivated, and that's what I care a lot about. So today we'll talk about reducing regulations and genetically modified organisms and examples of that. So let me just start with an example of what I do on a day-to-day basis for my research. So let me start by outlining the concept of the holobiont, okay? So the idea is your body, your own human body has cells that make it up, right? There's little living cells that make up your own body, and each of those cells is a part of you. But the funny thing is most of the cells, most of the living things on your body are not actually you. They're bacteria, they're fungi, they're protists, they're things that live on your body or inside you. So most of the living cells in your body are not actually you. That's the concept of the holobiont. We have all these symbionts, these bacteria that live inside of us and actually help us function, okay? And insects are the same way. So I study this particular bacteria. It's called Wolbachia. It lives inside of mosquitoes, okay? And it has this unique ability that it can sterilize mosquitoes. So imagine the potential there, because if you can control mosquito reproduction, if you could develop a switch to shut it on or off, you could all of a sudden sterilize all the mosquitoes in your local area, and all of a sudden the mosquito population just drops, okay? So that's what I study. I actually discovered the genes, which are the machines that the Wolbachia bacteria uses to sterilize mosquitoes. Okay, so I discovered that, and I built the first genetically modified insect that had these genes inserted where I could turn on sterility at the flip of a switch, turn it on, and then all the males become sterile, and then you can potentially use this, release it, and they will basically sterilize the population of pest insects, okay? So that's what I do research on. This is one example of biotechnology of genetically modified organisms. You can imagine how useful that would be. You could use that not just for mosquitoes, you could use that for agricultural pests. Anything, any insect that causes problems, you could potentially use this for. Okay? So now there's a version of this, just for, I guess, some interesting tidbits in the news recently. There's actually versions of this technology right now that are being used in America right now. So the Wolbachia technology is EPA approved in about 20 states. So they're doing releases of this. The most recent one was just in Miami, and they were able to reduce the populations of Zika transmitting mosquitoes. They were able to reduce that population by releasing these sterile males, okay? And it's EPA approved, and my question is, why is it not approved in all 50 states? Why is it only approved in 20 states? Here in Alabama, it's not approved in Alabama. I have no idea why, but we're not getting the benefits of that because of that regulation, okay? So they're releasing these mosquitoes on one side in Mississippi. It's approved in Mississippi, and they're releasing these mosquitoes on the other side in Florida and in Georgia. It's approved in those states, but it's not approved in Alabama. So my question is, why is it not approved in Alabama? Why are we not getting the benefits of this genetically modified organism? Because of government regulation, okay? So we need to send somebody to Congress who at least has a minimal understanding of the science behind genetically modified organisms so they can look into this regulation, get it up to date, and figure out what's going on so that we can get everybody in America the benefits of these genetically modified organisms. So I want to be a smart advocate that's going to reduce regulations on safe biotechnologies. And biotechnology is huge for Alabama, okay? We have massive agricultural production here, and we have a whole bunch of agricultural research universities like Tuskegee, Auburn, all of those things. So this is going to have huge benefits for the people of Alabama if we can smart and safely reduce regulations on genetically modified organisms. It's going to incredibly help farmers. Let's see, anything else? So if you like, so that's about it. If you like the videos, or if you have any questions, you can post them, or you can send me an email. If you like, you can follow, you can share, which is super helpful. You can comment, you can vote in the primary on March 3rd, the Republican primary, GOP, and you can go to eaglewolfpack.com if you have anything you want to say. Any questions? Wait, let me say one more thing. So, do you think, let me ask, the other people I'm running against, one of them is John Merrill. He's Secretary of State of Alabama. Another one is Tommy Tuberville. He's a football coach of Auburn, previously of Auburn. He actually left. But these are the two people I'm running against. Ask yourself the question, do you think that they would even be able to understand this kind of stuff? This is the kind of stuff that United States Senator is going to have to deal with. And ask yourself if they're the type of person that you think could even understand this. All right. Good talking.